do another live stream Yahyel channeling, so it'll just take a couple of minutes for people to log in while I drop into the channeling state. So I'll just start entering into the channeling state, and we'll see how many people we get on. Hopefully the thumbnail didn't put anyone off. Hey Andrea, welcome. I'm just going to drop into the channeling state now, so give me a few minutes and we'll start the channeling soon. If you super chats get priority, so if you want to get a question in before the super chats and people log in, drop your questions now. Hey Melanie, welcome. Nice to see you. Glad to see the thumbnail didn't put you off. I'm just looking at that. I actually woke up in the middle of the night having like weird thoughts in my head about that it was pretty spooky, wasn't it? I didn't realise how it didn't look so spooky in large image, but like shut down, it just looks like he's got big black eyes like a grey. Oh well, we can process our fears. I don't think they're quite that spooky. Thank you for the super chat, Andrea. If you can try and keep the question attached to the super chat if possible. I know it's a bit tricky getting to grips with YouTube, so feel free to drop your question. Yeah, it's just a little bit confusing. It's tricky enough as it is going in and out of the channeling state to answer the questions, but that's fine. Yeah, sorry about the spooky thumbnail. I'll get a more love-light thumbnail next week. Maybe that's why there's no one waiting. We're up to 5 people already though, so thank you for joining everyone. I'm just dropping into the channeling state and I'll see you in another now. Hey Soup Beer, great to see you. Glad you made it. Just take me a few moments to get into the channeling state. I've got a Learn to Channel course starting March 7th. Got the first registrant today, so we're going for it. Saturday, March the 7th, Learn to Channel course begins. Check out my website, jonathantrinity.com. Link should be below here somewhere. If not during the live stream, I'll edit it afterwards. It should be a link up soon. It's all very confusing, this, especially when I'm channeling. I don't know what's going on. It's great to be back. Thank you for joining, everyone. Hey everyone. Hey Beltex, welcome. New name. Oh, we're suddenly up to 19 people, so I'm going to have to drop into the channeling state now. I'll see you all in another hour. Bye. Give me 2 minutes to get into the channeling. Hello, welcome. I am Tahinio of the Yahyel civilization. We come from a space not too far from here, a planet. We have set up a temporary base for this moment near the Zeta Reticuli star system, for we thought you would find it amusing that the image in the thumbnail looks like a spooky Zeta Grey extraterrestrial. Incidentally, as a side note, the channel informs us he's been watching the movie Alien, and he notices the Alien series franchise is actually set in the Zeta Reticuli star system. Which is more spooky, the Zeta Reticuli Greys, the thumbnail to this channeling, or the movie Alien? Answers on a postcard, please, to Zeta Reticuli. One moment. Okay, so Andrea, thank you for your question. Let's just check. Why do you look like Jesse Pinkman? I've got no idea who Jesse Pinkman is. It's probably someone with a funny quiff haircut. Okay, so my question is from Andrea. Number one, I don't know how you get the rating, most questions possibly. So my question is, I've been trying to change and let go of old programs and identities, but I feel like I'm motivated for a day, but then I'm back. What can I do here? I can read that perfectly, guys. My eyes are really healing. It's a miracle. It's a true miracle. Thank you, Yahyel and God, for helping heal my eyes. My question is, I've been trying to change and let go of old programs and identities, but I feel like I'm motivated for a day, then I'm back. What can I do? One moment. It's just going to take me a couple of minutes. I need to get a bit deeper and connected. Yeah, hit that like button, guys, if you like this channeling. It helps get it boosted through YouTube. We get more people on, and those you might not want that because you can't get your question in then. But like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll see you soon, guys. Bye bye. Hello, hello, welcome. We are back. All right, so getting back to the question, the channel needs to remind us what the question was. So, question from Andrea. My question is, I've been trying to change and let go of old programs and identities, but I feel like I'm motivated for a day, but then I'm back. What can I do? All right, so this is the roller coaster that keeps going upwards. As in the last channeling, the last live channeling session, this time last week in your channel's time, as he obeys the rules of time in your reality, which we do not, but that's another story. In the previous channeling, the channel touched into how the reason why the snake is such a ancient symbol in your civilization is because it's connected to the sine wave. As you notice the pattern a snake forms as it goes through the graph, it's like a wave, yes? It's like a wave, a sine wave, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. And this is synonymous to reality, synonymous to the physical world, at least in this universe. All creation, at least within this universe, obeys the rules of the sine wave, obeys the rules of frequency, obeys the rules of vibration. And so the idea is that your reality is created through cycles and waves, peaks and troughs, valleys and mountains, highs and lows. And so the idea is that as you progress through physical reality, the Bashar that the channel was somewhat taught by peripherally, he learned a lot from Dowell Anchor. The Bashar teaches that reality, the ascension process, is a roller coaster that keeps going upwards. For you go up, 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 you reach a new high frequency, and then you come down, down, down as you integrate those frequencies. For the idea is that, to use the ancient Hindu analogy, when you dust a room, when you clean a room, the dust rises. And it takes some time for the dust to settle again, and before you see the clean room. And so it is the same as this idea of the wave, the cycles and the waves that create your reality. As you go through the ascension process, as you go through the awakening process, as you raise your frequency to new peaks, new peak experiences of expansion, of joy and ecstasy and bliss, this stirs up more in your subconscious, more beliefs, more out of alignment perspectives, more thoughts that are not true to the essence of your being. And so the idea is that as you progress through the ascension process, progress through the shift of your world into fourth density, into fifth dimensional reality, you're stirring up your subconscious. The ascension process is the process of making your unconscious conscious, bring it into your conscious awareness so you can redefine it in a positive way, more aligned with your higher mind, your true state within your soul being, and progress forward. And so the idea is that as you reach new highs, as you seem to stabilize in new realms of centeredness, higher consciousness, joy, bliss, expansion, presence in your moment, creativity, serenity, peace, all the positive emotions, what this actually does is this raises the frequency, and in a sense it shines the light, it shines the higher frequency energies on anything that is still distorted, still not processed, still unrealized, still unconscious in your lower system. So it will always be a process to some degree of highs and lows, peaks and valleys, waves like this sine wave of creation, for you are hitting new highs which allow you to become more aware. For as you are stood at the top of the mountain, you can see those beings below you that are not of such high frequency. And so it is in your mind, as you reach the high peaks of the higher frequency realities, you can see that within you which is lower frequency. And if it is not fully processed, if it is not fully redefined, if it is not fully let go of, it will continue knocking on your door, so to speak. It will continue trying to climb up the mountain after you, but what will happen is it will actually end up pulling you back down into the valley until you dive down deep into the valley, see what it's saying to you, seeing and understanding from your new perspective, your new higher perspective, and if it lines up with the new higher perspective, you will generally find it does not. and will always find it will not if you are in clarity. And so you go through the process of seeing this belief does not serve you, seeing is it not true to your divine nature, your soul essence, and your perspective from your higher mind. Redefine it, become aware that it's not serving you, and even open a dialogue with it, even begin to talk to this belief. Say, hey belief, well, I've just seen, and actually I understand that I create my reality. I understand I am centered in joy and peace. I understand I can just be joy in any given moment, yet you're telling me I can't. What is your issue? Lower belief, physical mind, programmed old perspective. And you can even take up a two-way conversation from higher perspective to lower perspective. And over time, this will begin to transform the misaligned belief, the misaligned perspective, bring it back into center, bring it back into frequency with the perspective more aligned to your new heart-centered experience of creation. Okay, guys, so super chats get priority, guys. So we've got super chats coming in now, so I'll do the super chats first. All right, so the questioner is referring to a question from the previous week's session in time as you Earth humans measure it. Can you introduce to that trans people you mentioned last time? Also, these times I am getting attracted to trans women very much. Hope you can tell me something. One moment. All right, we'll see if we can connect you in to this entity we spoke of last time in our civilization, who has chosen to take in physical alterations to their being so they can understand what is occurring in your physical plane and have empathy and compassion for those beings that are going through this process themselves in your world, and also understand how it relates to the idea of balancing the masculine and feminine energies within, which is a part of the ascension process. Hello? 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 Yes, yes. I have been observing your world for some time, observing that many of you are playing with the exploration of gender, what gender means to your reality, what gender means to your world, and how many of you have even taken some physical operations to represent the opposite sex. You do not need to do this because your sexuality is contained within you vibrationally. However, if you wish to mirror this in your physical reality, we understand. And so I, as a male being, decided to go under an operation to have my genitalia more represent that of a feminine being. And so we do not have such active and protruded genitalia because generally we reproduce energetically. We do not need to use our sexual organs to birth beings so much anymore. We can create beings energetically through the merging of vibrational masculine and feminine energies. And so what I have come to understand from this is that many of you who are experiencing this is because in past lives you have been the opposite gender. Perhaps many past lives you have, for example, experienced being a woman, and in this incarnation you have chosen to be a man. Yet somehow on a soul level you feel like you're a woman because you remember all your previous incarnations, linearly speaking, aspects of your multidimensional soul, scientifically speaking. And so the idea is that this benefits you in the idea that you can balance out the masculine and feminine energies within yourselves. For as you go through the ascension process, the awakening process is a lot to do with balancing out the energies, balancing out the idea of the masculine, calculating, action-taking energy with the feminine, receptive, compassionate and loving energy. The idea is that when you are in the channeling state, you are more in the feminine energies, in the receptive mode, receiving energies. And then when you get the information required and begin to take action on it, you are moving into the masculine energies. And so the awakening process, and this was well understood in your ancient civilizations such as ancient Egypt, whereas some of the temples were actually designed to represent the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain. The right hemisphere of the brain controls the left side of the body and is connected to the feminine consciousness. The left hemisphere of the brain controls the right side of the body and is connected to the masculine consciousness. And this is actually symbolically presented in many of your ancient temples, along with this snake symbol we have mentioned before. And so the idea is that to raise your frequency, and this is why the idea of Kundalini energy, of life force energy, is represented by the serpent rising up the spine, because it's the raising of frequency, the raising of energy up the spine, activating the chakras. And at the same time, it is understood that to achieve this, one must balance the masculine and feminine energies. So this is why so many of you, and why I undertook this kind of strange undertaking for our civilization, to explore this idea of the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies. Of course, you do not need to take any operation. You do not need to state, I am one identity or another. You can literally just be yourself in the moment. Understand you are harmonizing in the balance point of the Trinity between the masculine and feminine energies, and understand that this is the ascension process. So this is why so many of you are drawn to the idea of gender change, of even physical operations, as you talk about. And so this is really why you are resonating to this, we sense, because you are balancing out your energies. And it is not necessary to take on one or the other, to say I am this or the other. You can just literally be yourself. It's up to you, though we understand your draw, and this is the reason this is happening in your world at this time. Meeting on mountain, what would you like to do? All right, so if you feel drawn to connect with us in a mountainous region, and we have recently, today actually, shared some information about how to connect with us that your channel will be sharing in text format, likely through your Facebook platform, possibly through your YouTube posts. So we tell you to keep your eyes out, suggest you keep your eyes out. We don't tell you, we suggest you do, if this resonates, to keep your eyes out for a text post relating to making contact with us. And so we would really like to do nothing other than meet you. For us, the highest excitement is simply meeting you, communicating with you in the moment, meeting in presence, meeting in awareness, meeting in consciousness, and seeing what unfolds. We do not have any desire, any agenda at this time, really, other than meeting you Earth humans. For the most priority for us at this time is simply to connect. There will be times in the future where actions, where agendas, where timescales will be suggested you for things we can do together or on our own. However, at this time, it is always about just connecting, just meeting. Is that not enough? Just to meet us, just to be friends, in joy, in happiness, in love, in the moment? This is our suggestion. All right, back ZC8DS. Thank you for your super chat. I don't see a question. If you want to add a question, you can, if you maybe you're just donating, but if you do like to add a question, you can like connect it to the super chat. I'll keep my eye out in case you drop a question afterwards. So let's see some of the other questions we've got. Well, there's not so many people online. In which dimension do we go after death, and in which dimension are our souls, and in which dimension is the source? One moment. In which dimension do we go after death, and in which dimension are our souls, and in which dimension is the source? All right, so we prefer to use the idea of densities to represent this reality. And so the idea is that after death, you go into what we would term sixth density, and the source is in seventh density. So you may call this ninth and 12th dimensions. We think this lines up with your dimensional reality. 7th to 9th dimensions would be heaven and where your souls reside. Your souls are kind of higher dimensional as well. So we prefer to use the idea of densities. As souls, you are 6th density beings, multidimensional, infinite consciousness, yet with a unique perspective and goal and direction. Source consciousness is what we would call the final density, 7th density. Just as a explanation, first density is rock, mineral, life, the elements. Second density is plant and animal life. Third density is the density that humans reside in, self-aware consciousness, sentient beings, although you are now shifting into fourth density. Fourth density is the realm of heart-centered consciousness, alignment with your infinite self, dwelling and knowing what you might call enlightened consciousness, self-realized consciousness, the idea of understanding that you are all part of creation. Reality is an illusion, and you are creating your dream as you go within consciousness in a heart-centered, love, light, service to others frequency. This is the fourth density reality. Fifth dimension is non-physical reality. It is the realm of spirit. And sixth density is a higher expression of the realm of spirit. Seventh density is the infinite self, is God, is source consciousness. We hope this answers your question. And so the idea in a dimensional realm, we would suggest that source consciousness is what you might call the 12th dimensional realm, and the idea of heaven and the soul complex is kind of 7th to 9th dimensional, possibly higher in some cases. It varies. So we prefer the 6th to 7th density explanation. Many souls reside in 9th to 11th dimensions, and heaven is generally experienced as 7th to 11th dimensional reality. All right? We hope this helps. Thank you, back ZC8. Yes, thank you for the donation and appreciation. I appreciate you too. Okay, so let's see if we can find some more questions. Okay, so Guy said, "Hey man," I said, "where are you from?" We are from here. We are from the future. We are parallel reality versions of yourselves. We are hybrid beings of the Zeta Reticuli hybridization program from your future. And generally for many eons we have resided on our ships. Some of us have begun to take up residence in some star systems, some around Arcturus, some around specifically us at the minute, kind of as a joke. We set up base. We are kind of hovering around a planet near Zeta Reticulum. And so generally, mostly, we live aboard our ships. All right? So we are from here. In a sense, we are you. We are parallel reality versions of you from another time, another space. We have genetic connections to you. You are our forefathers to some degree. So see us as reflections of you, parallel reality versions of you to some degree. Do you have alien teeth? Yes, to some degree, although in many ways they have withdrawn into more like mashes, as some animals in your planet have. They are not so teeth-like, as we do not ingest food very often, and so we do not require teeth. What do you say when someone withdraws from society? We say, congratulations, if that's your excitement. We prefer you are referring to yourselves, for we cannot really withdraw from our society because we are telepathically connected. And so we are always withdrawn and always connected in some ways because we are always going in. The idea of withdrawing from society is usually to go within oneself, and we are always inside ourselves. Often we are connected on our motherships. Often we are, in a sense, withdrawing from society as we go out on our scout craft on our own. However, we are not really withdrawn from our society because we are always telepathically connected. If you feel drawn to the idea of withdrawing from society in your reality, that's all well, that's all good. If it's your excitement, if you feel drawn in that direction, for there will be times for many of you as you go through the ascension process that you will feel drawn, you will feel guided to withdraw from your civilization for the purpose of processing, for the purpose of meditation, for the purpose of spiritual practice. It is up to you to decide what resonates, whether you choose to go out in your world and trust the synchronicities and manifestations to represent a mirror, an opportunity for you to grow spiritually, vibrationally, or to withdraw in from time to time, to go within, to meditate, to make your unconscious conscious, to become aware of those meditative beliefs that keep you, to become aware of those negative beliefs that keep you from fulfilling your destiny and staying centered in joy and peace. When will physical open contact happen post 2027? One moment. Well, for some of you, physical contact has begun, and so it will happen bit by bit. We do sense at the end of this year, some of you will have physical contact experiences, if we can call it that, because we are somewhat less physical than you, somewhat quasi-physical. Our physicality is less dense than you, though we do have bodies that can manifest, though they may appear somewhat etheric in your realm, as our being is somewhat different to yours. Moving through 2027 into your September timeframe and beyond, there will be much expansion. By then, we sense it will have been announced by your leaders that you are not alone, and so this will pave the way for us to enter your reality. Will probably most likely have appeared on your general mainstream media broadcasts by that time, not necessarily us, more likely the Pleiadians, possibly beings from Sirius. We may pop in time to time, although we are slightly spooky looking, slightly paranormal looking, and so a little disturbing for many of your beings, as you may see from the thumbnail for this video. And so it is likely that it will be the Pleiadians that come first, and your ability to have physical contact really depends how much you have activated your heart awareness, how much you have activated your heart being and your heart self. So yes, it will likely be around 2029 to 2030 and beyond before we are regularly entering into your world, for the frequencies have to rise, the consciousness has to stabilize. You have to reach a certain threshold collectively before we can regularly come and go in your reality. And this is likely to progress through 2030, 2033, up to 2039 before we are fully rooted and fully present in your reality. But you are making good progress. And yes, physical contact is already occurring for some people. It will accelerate towards the end of 2026. And by 2027, it will be more commonplace, though not for the majority of people, only for those that have been working towards this for many years, preparing, because it is very intense for the mental, physical, emotional body, even the spiritual body on some levels, to have contact with our being, our individuation in this reality. God's unfailing love and grace to all, with love from the home of the Phoenix Lights. All right. The channel points out to us that he has made a video about the Phoenix Lights and our connection to this thing, this experience in your reality. Oh, thank you. $5. She says, I highly recommend Jonathan Trinity Martin's Learn to Channel classes. Yeah, we have another one starting soon if you join my website. I'm going to have to do some deep breathing, guys, in a minute. I sometimes feel anxious when I'm deep in the valley between mountains and forests. Why is that? Even though I find it very beautiful at the same time. Well, as we transmitted at the start of this transmission, as you raise your frequency, as you raise your vibration, it will begin to stir up those negative beliefs, those fear-based beliefs that are still lodged in your unconscious mind. And so the idea is that when you are in the valley between the mountains and the forests, you are in a high frequency place. The mountains particularly will raise your consciousness, expand your consciousness, and make you aware of unresolved negative beliefs in your being. It is possible you have had some kind of contact experience also in this reality that you possibly don't consciously remember. We sense, possibly, there may have been an occurrence in this area that you have blocked out, that we have assisted you with blocking out, for you are not quite ready to see this. Ask your higher self before you go to bed at night to share information on this, what we have shared, and see what comes up for you in your dreams and in the following months ahead. Can you please tell us who Yahyel al-Sin is? Thank you. Yahyel al-Sin. Yahyel al-Sin. Well, the idea is it is kind of difficult for us to understand, for the channel is reading the messages, then relaying the information telepathically to us. And if the channel does not understand who he is, it is kind of hard for us to understand who he is and what he is. We can attempt to tune in to his frequency and see what this name represents, and this may give you a pointer in that direction. It is connected to the idea of the religions in the area of your Israeli world, connected to the idea of the ancient teachings that birthed all your Hindu, Muslim, and Christian religions, that all have a connected source, that all root from the same source core teachings in their essence. And so we sense this entity is connected to unveiling ancient teachings hidden deeply in modern religions. All right, so I would love to learn to astro travel. One moment. One moment. The channel is recalibrating. One moment. We will answer your question on astral travel in one moment. One moment. we will be back with you soon. The moment the channel is re-energizing and recalibrating. We will be back soon. Hold on, Earth humans. We will be back soon. One moment. We are on hold. One moment. Hello, hello, welcome, I am back. Hello, Earth humans. What is the next big event regarding frequency increase that we can expect? This one, Earth humans. The event is happening right now. This is the big event where your frequency is rising. All right, we are joking some moment. One moment. Well, we have been for some time talking about the idea of frequencies rising, particularly around your 2027 period. However, towards the end of 2029 and into 2030, there will be a huge expansion of consciousness, a huge expansion of frequency, a huge enlightenment in your reality. So the expansion will begin third to fourth quarter 2027, 2028, 2029 and 2030 into 2033. This will see a big expansion in your reality. We hope this helps. Sumit 57200. How do I get a perfect process for trading and make high amounts of money? We suggest you learn to trade your own consciousness. We suggest you learn to trade your own state of being. We suggest you learn to trade your soul essence, your higher mind in this reality. For this is the greatest value you can give to the world. And the more value you give to the world, the more value you can receive in turn. Trade yourself, for it is not access to your soul, is not the ability to act on your highest excitement, act on your joy, act on your passion in moment to moment free. And so this will give you the greatest returns. Zero investment, infinite return. This is our advice. Hi, would you be able to connect with my energy and read what is my progress in the past couple of years and what do I still need to be working on now? We sense there is still some fear in you, fear about expansion into your reality, some hesitation to step fearlessly into your highest path, into your highest timeline, and the understanding that reality will support you. We suggest you focus on this idea that your reality will support you, that you are your reality, that you are creating your reality as you go through your vibrational output, through your thoughts, beliefs and emotions, and that as you harmonize in alignment with your higher mission, your higher purpose in this reality, you will stabilize in a vibrational frequency that will support you going forward. So learn to trust, learn to look for opportunities, learn to see those synchronicities that make available ways for you to be supported unerringly in your highest passion, your highest purpose in this reality. We hope this helps. Thank you, Malama, 1982. Question. Bashar said the United States would be divided into two presidents and that Trump would not be in office when open contact takes place. What is his role in open contact? Disclosure. He will likely be the president that discloses our presence. He is aware of our presence. He is still slightly on the fence. He has his own agenda, and I'm not sure if it suits his agenda. However, we do sense that he could be the disclosure president, and we do sense that open contact could occur under his presidency. However, there will need to be a vibrational shift. more love, more compassion. And so we suggest you all send him unconditional love to the best of your ability that will give him the opportunity to still be in power when open contact occurs and still be part of the 2027 timeline. This is our advice to you. Help uplift him, love him unconditionally. See, he's just kind of lost and confused and egotistical and really full of himself to some degree. And that he doesn't need to be, that he can enjoy reality in another way. And the more you send him unconditional love, the more ability he has to be part of the open contact timeline. Question. Bashar mentioned that individual open contact requires reaching 200,000 cycles per second. Bashar says that even if open contact becomes a reality, there are those who oppose it. Yes, contact requires the ability to reach very high states of vibrational consciousness, very high levels of bliss, euphoria, serenity, and peace, and divine frequencies within. However, understand you do not need to maintain this all the time. You need to be able to access this during the contact experience, and then you can drop back down into more stable frequencies in your day-to-day lives, in your society, so you do not freak everyone out around you, which may occur if you were to maintain these very high cycles per second in physical reality. These are frequencies that are connected to transcendental experiences, to mystical experiences, to enlightenment and awakening experiences. It would feel like you are becoming enlightened. It would feel like you are Master Yeshua or the Buddha himself in reaching these frequencies. So understand they are a very expansive state of consciousness and can take some work on your shadow and through following your heart's calling in this world to reach those frequencies. There are those that have already made this frequency. The channel has experienced this himself. However, understand it has been very difficult for the channel prior to these experiences integrating this in its physical life. It had a kind of severe knock-on effect that he was kind of depressed in many ways at many times, understanding that he could not maintain these frequencies day to day when interacting in his society. So you've got to understand that it may cause some shock in your system. It may even cause some psychosis, some physical side effects to the contact, and it may be difficult reintegrating with society after this experience. So this is why you have to do the work. This is why you have to learn to stabilize, and you have to learn to surrender your reality to what your higher self creates for you, and understand that it may be slightly destabilizing returning to physical reality after experiencing these high frequency experiences. And of course, yes, there are those beings in your reality that do not wish open contact to occur, for they have been covering it up for so long. It would terrify them to be made public that they have been covering this information up. However, once a collective threshold is reached, we will reach out to the collective. We respect the collective vibration, the majority vote. And it does not even necessarily need to be more than 50% of your planet. It needs to be that the vibrational momentum towards that direction tips past a certain threshold. All right. Is open contact possible even if someone doesn't reach this frequency, if it's a major theme in her life? Well, the idea of open contact refers to contact on a mass scale, as the Bashar uses the term. However, on an individual level, you can experience contact without reaching this frequency, though the contact will be in your dream state when you are unconscious, either in the astral realm, when your physical body is not necessarily in that frequency, but within your being, within the dimension you are experiencing in dream sleep, you have reached that frequency. So it will occur within the dream state if it is destined to occur and you are not capable of reaching these high frequencies within your waking state. Well, if you have a life theme to make contact, it will be that all the synchronicities, all the path you have been drawn to taken up to that point will have been guiding you to enable you to access that frequency in your being. So if it is part of your life theme to experience physical contact with us or another civilization, you will have been prepared since birth. It is likely you will have struggled in this reality to some degree because you will have faced intense challenges that will have given you the opportunity to process misaligned beliefs, to make aware any subconscious fears that still exist in your being. You will likely have become somewhat sensitive to energies and will be highly empathic and thus find it difficult to be in areas such as dense cities and stressful situations. And so you will have been prepared and you will have possibly found life very challenging up to this time. However, understand you chose this on a soul level so you could be ready to raise your frequency to these higher frequency bands in preparation for not only open contact but physical contact on a personal level. Is Trump really the man to deal with the deep state or the cabal? No, he is too deeply entwined in that reality himself and doesn't have the opportunity or the ability to act from unconditional love. The only way you can really deal with these entities is to come from a place of unconditional love, so you do not get sucked into the traps that may come with interacting with these beings, with coming up against them. It must be a being. And so the idea is not so much of dealing with them, but the idea is of creating a reality, creating a system, creating a structure that operates on a higher love light frequency where these beings will not be able to interact with it. It will be like the light blinding them and they will just run away back and scuttle into their dark little shadows, holes. We thank you for your unconditional love, $5 hug. We send back unconditional love to you as well, dear one. Maybe $5 hug, maybe a flyover of a UFO for the Super Bowl could help open contact. This may be a possibility, actually. This may occur. It may not be a mile-wide Yahyel mothership, but you may start to see this more and more, these kind of events, orbs hovering over these areas. For understand, these are generally situations when your collective vibration is at a high point, where there are large numbers of humans together connected in joy and excitement. And so these do represent opportunities for us to present our craft to your civilization. And this has actually already occurred in your reality. If someone is mentally ill and has schizophrenia, how can you help them, and will they experience first contact? Well, it depends on the way the schizophrenia plays out. If it is centered around lots of fear, lots of negative delusions, we will likely not come too close to them because it could amplify this illness. It could make it temporarily worse, cause psychosis, even make the schizophrenia worse. However, some beings that have these illnesses have learnt to maintain a higher frequency, have learnt to deal with the illness. And so, yes, these beings we could definitely have contact with. Years ago, I had open contact in my dream and not since. What did both mean? Well, all things occur in perfect timing. There is a timing for everything. And like we say, the contact experiences can cause a rapid expansion of consciousness and the upwelling of subconscious fears that need to be dealt with, and the processing of things within your physical lives and physical reality, even when in the dream state. So we are happy to take things very slowly. We are happy to not rush things, for it was after the channel had his primary initial contact experiences around 2008 and 2009. After this period, he had some experiences, but then experienced quite a long period of several years where we did not see us. This was partly because he became too desperate to attach to this experience. He was seeking this, he kind of saw this as the goal of his life, to have contact for the purpose of feeling good. However, this is not really the message we want to share with you. We want to share with you the understanding that you can enjoy life, enjoy reality, whether we are here or not. So it was left for the timing of the channel to kind of accept where he was, except he was still on this earth plane ball spinning through space at high velocity, and not become too desperate or too attached to having contact with us or other beings. And at this time we were able to begin to interact with him again. Can you speak about perspective, how the mind's view on, for example, money? My energy is most important. Can you speak about perspective, how the mind's view on, for example, money? Can you speak about perspective, how the mind's view, my energy is most important? Yes, and understand money is energy. Money is just a permission slip for allow you to do things in your reality. And there are many other ways you can create, you can follow your excitement without the necessity to follow the idea, the trail of money. But the idea is that reality is an illusion, and you're creating it with your conscious and your collective civilization, putting so much emphasis on the idea of money kind of locks you in a box, kind of locks you down into the belief that you need money to do good things, but you do not, because it's an illusion. Reality is an illusion created in your consciousness. You are creating your reality as you go. And the more you come to the belief that you do not need money as a symbol to follow your highest excitement, to follow your joy, to follow your passion, the more you will see opportunities and synchronicities manifesting in your world that you allow you to live the life of your dreams without even a single dollar in your bank account. When will your planet be visible to our observation instrument? We do not live on a planet. We do not have our own planet. We have, as we have said, taken up some bases in some systems around Arcturus and Sirius, and temporarily at this moment near Zeta Reticuli. And so we do not have a home planet ourselves, really. Is Ashtar Command close with the Yahyel? Yes, the idea of Ashtar consciousness as a overseeing force of the Pleiadian civilization. Yes, we are very much interacting with this consciousness at this time. They are aware of this transmission as you speak. Yes, Ashtar is a consciousness and an entity that oversees the Pleiadian Council and the Pleiadian ships in your world. So yes, we very much interact with the Ashtar awareness. And so we may be sharing more information on this in future transmissions. For now, it seems the questions have come to an end, so we shall pass you back to the channel, and we shall see you in another hour. Much love and much light to you, Earth humans. Have a wonderful day, Earth humans. Good day. Hey guys, I'm back. Love you. May we teach a technique for everyone. Let's start with calling you in, meeting you, staying logical, happy, and reflecting on the process to integrate. Yeah, there's I did a channeling this morning, a text channeling, Melanie, on I'm going to post on Facebook probably tomorrow on how to make contact with the Yahyel. So I had quite a few people asking this question, and so I think that's what you're asking. Love you. May we teach a technique for everyone. Let's start with calling you in. Yeah. Calling you in, meeting you, staying logical, happy, and reflecting on the process. Yeah. I think we cover most of that stuff because I know you were asking me at some point, maybe last week or somewhere, and I've had a few people asking that. So there's a text channeling. I'll probably post it here in YouTube posts as well, and on my email list. I'm going to set up a box on my webpage so you can subscribe to my email list. I know that up for ages, so my email list is a bit old, but because I'm posting my channelings to my email list as well. You can't join my email list at the minute because I haven't got my website sorted that much yet after my break. So, however, there is a lot on the website. I have done a lot of new stuff on the website, jonathantrinity.com. The link should be around here somewhere. There's a Learn to Channel course starting in March. You can do private channeling sessions with me. You can do private sessions with me. And so I got distracted by that super chat. So sorry, Dark Moon UFO. I literally just finished channeling. However, I literally already answered this question. Someone else answered this question. Did who? Oh yeah. Maybe it's just come. I just answered this question. I see you asked it before. Dark Moon UFO Research. Is Astar Command close with the Yahyel? Yeah, maybe you've heard this. Maybe there's a little bit of a delay in your part of the world, but so hopefully you saw that answer. I literally just answered that, so maybe there's a delay. Yeah, so check out my website. Yeah, I've got a Learn to Channel course starting March 7th. You can do private channeling sessions with me, private sessions just with me as well if you just want to talk to me. And I've got a one-to-one coaching program. My coaching program is back. It's a 33-week coaching program. So you can find that on my website, jonathantrinity.com as well. So okay, we've got a few minutes left. Try and do about an hour and a half. So although I'm not channeling like anymore, like trance channeling, I might be able to intuitively bring some quick answers to this. So, Jonathan, how can I communicate with Yahyel in my dream state? Do I vocalize out loud that intention before sleep or just in my mind? Yeah, I think either will work. I mean, saying it out loud can be really powerful. If you've got no one around that thinks you're crazy. Do I have to work more on my fear before I can connect with them? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I've been having dream contact for many years, and I still have fears. In fact, I woke up in the middle of the night after the thumbnail for this video. Like it's became a bit spooky, and I didn't realize it looked so spooky. In like the big image, they've got bigger eyes. It looked, you could actually see their irises, but in the thumbnail, just it looked like they just had these black eyes, like the Zetas. And so yeah, you certainly don't have to transfer. I haven't transcended fear completely. I just made a video about this. Actually, there's a YouTube channel. I mean, I'm grounded. There's a YouTube channel. Yeah, on this channel, I just made a video titled. I'm still editing it. But it's titled 3 cases that will convince you. 3 UFO cases that will convince you we're not alone, or something like this. To be the title. and it's about the Rendlesham Forest case, the Travis Walton case, and the Phoenix Lights. And I talk a bit about my personal fear of making contact in this experience after I was talking about the Travis Walton case, where because I don't know if any of you know about Travis Walton, but he got like zapped by a UFO. He was, but we think it was probably an electrostatic discharge, because what it was, Travis Walton, he was in a clearing in the forest with his logging team. He was a lumberjack, and he got out of the car to look at this huge flying saucer that was above him, and like it zapped him, and his crew thought he was dead, and they all drove off and left him, because and I can, the terror that can come up, the primal fear that can come up in these experiences. I mean, I can't, I can't necessarily blame them. And was Travis Walton also in Arizona? I didn't know that. And yes, it seems Arizona is the place to be for contact. And yeah, and like I talk a bit about how I could understand that Travis, because we think Travis Walton probably didn't. Well, this is my perspective, and he's touched on this as well, because the ships operate on high voltage electricity, and I think he maybe got too close under it, because they picked him up and took him away for 5 days and healed him, and then dropped him back off. And that's why it's such an interesting case, because like his crew had to do loads of lie detector cases and stuff. And so yeah, I talk about my personal fear in that video that's coming out on my YouTube channel next week, as soon as I get it edited, maybe Monday or Tuesday. And yes, so you certainly don't have to transcend the fear completely. If you had completely transcended the fear, they probably land and like I don't know, shake your hand. It's very. This is the process that we're all going through. It's not necessarily they're scary. It's that them coming into our awareness creates like a massive sudden expanse of your consciousness. You suddenly become aware that you are infinite God consciousness. But like it's kind of like the scene in the Matrix movie. where you've seen the Matrix movie where Neo takes the red pill, and he suddenly wakes up in like that pod in that comb, and it's like kind of terrifying. I think this is kind of like what that scene was symbolizing in the Matrix movie, when you wake up into your God consciousness, and you realize you're infinite and immortal and part of everything in creation, but then you kind of suddenly become aware that you're on Earth. And like Earth isn't all that perfect, and like because of all our subconscious fears, about dying, about all the things that can go wrong on this planet. If you haven't fully integrated the understanding that reality is an illusion and you have nothing to fear because we're creating it as we go, and everything just happens according to karma and our vibrational output. If you haven't fully integrated that, when you have a rapid awakening of consciousness, you'll suddenly be like, oh my God, what is going on? Because in our normal waking day-to-day state, we suppress all that stuff. This is why regular people just like watch TV and eat food and work, and they never really stop, do they? Like a regular person, like if you don't meditate or don't do a spiritual practice, like you never really stop. You like wake up in the morning and you like brush your teeth, then make your food, then watch the TV, then go to work, then come back and have a beer and watch TV and go to bed. And it's all ultimately it's about suppressing the terrifying realization that you live on planet Earth, because it is really, because if you haven't fully integrated the understanding that you create your own reality, and it's all a dream and it's all an illusion, and even if something terrible happens to you and you're like dead, even if you get hit by an electrostatic discharge from a flying saucer, you instantly die. If you haven't like processed that, that's completely fine, because you just step out of your physical body, and it's actually amazing, because like in death you expand into your higher consciousness and your soul into bliss and ecstasy. If you've heard any stories of past life recall and near-death experiences, so all this stuff that most of us haven't really processed, you suddenly become in like a contact experience. It all you suddenly like expand into your infinite self, into your God consciousness, your self-realized or awakened state, a kind of fourth density consciousness, I guess. But at the same time, not necessarily in the experience, because usually during the experience the ETs will like pull you up into euphoria and bliss and their reality and their pure unconditional love. It's when you come back to reality, you're still in the expanded state, and you're like, oh no, I still have to go to work on Monday morning, and all this stuff starts coming up. But somehow it's like, yeah, I mean, it's you do get scared of the experiences as well, though, because like I remember like one of the things I was talking about in this video next week is like about, I know it's quite many years ago, it's maybe like 10 years ago or something now. I was in the forest here in the UK where I had my initial contact experiences, and I was trying. I went there to make contact, and I just got cold there, and when I got there, it was like tipping it. It was like, it wasn't that late at night. I think it was only it wasn't that late at night, 9, 10 p.m. But it had been dark for a couple of hours, so it was like in late autumn, probably something like this. And so it was pitch black, and it was tipping it down with rain. And I went down to the spot where I had my first ever contact experience. There's a spot where I get to the path, and there's like these two paths that fork away. It's really weird, actually, that contact experience, because when I had my initial 2009 contact experience, which was either with the Yahyel or I sometimes feel it's like with the hybrid children, that kind of energy. After that experience, I went into I had a massive spiritual awakening. It activated this expansion of consciousness, and I was kind of in much joy and bliss. And all I wanted to do was go back to the forest and experience this again. But at the same time, I was terrified to go back to the forest because I knew that ETs were real. It was kind of scary going back to the forest at night anyway. And I used to go, but I went back there every day after that, like for pretty much every day for months and months and months, maybe a year. And back to the same spot where I had this contact experience, and there was this place where I get to the path. There's like a fork in the path, maybe symbolic, and I go down the left way, and I knew the way. And like the actual contact experience, I was like crawling on the bushes and stuff. And it's very strange how you can operate in a very heightened state of consciousness. I remember feeling like in some ways I became more like an animal. It was just like a part of the earth, and then one day, like, I literally went back to the spot where I had the contact experience every day for like months. And then one day I went back and I couldn't find it. It was like gone. It was like I think there was a parallel reality shift. I think it must have been as my frequency kind of dropped out of that higher state of consciousness that was around for months after the contact experience, and I can never find it again. Literally, I went there every day, back to the spot every day, or almost every day, for months and months and months. I used to drive there before work, sometimes after work. The forest is about 10 miles away from here where I'm back now, in the Lincolnshire in the UK. And then after going there every day for months, like I couldn't find the spot again. It just like it disappeared. I'm sure it must have gone must have been a parallel reality shift or something. And so yeah, and like after a few years, I went back to that spot. I think this was several years later, like probably 2015, 16, something like that. And I went back to that spot, and I with the intention of making contact, and I got down to that spot, literally that fork in the road where you leave the main track and go into the forest. These tracks were actually, quite sadly, they're deer culling tracks, horrible, because when you got too many deer, they trap the deer and they have the shooting point, horrible. And so I think they're deer culling tracks, horrible. But so I went down one of these. This is where I went to the contact place, and it's very close to where I had my second contact experience. A very powerful part of the forest. I'll maybe go back there soon when the weather gets better. And so I went to this spot, and like I went there with the intention of making contact. And I got to this spot, and it was dark at night. It was tipping it down with rain, and this purple orb like manifested literally down the path, not far away from me at all. Like the path, like this track I was talking about, the two paths, and where I left one. It was only like a couple, about 100 yards or so, and about halfway down it, this big purple orb, like energy orb, like I guess the ETs manifesting, as an orb, as they do a lot of the time, their consciousness beginning to manifest there. And and I was like, actually it's really wet. No, maybe tonight's not. I was making up excuses in my own mind. I was too scared to go down there. I was kind of terrified, like when I saw this purple orb appear, and I was kind of tricking myself. I was saying to myself, it's too wet, it's too muddy, I can't go down there in this rain. And I made up this excuse in my own head that the reason I wasn't going down there was because of it was not to do with the fact that I was terrified of the purple orb, that just because when you actually have these contact experiences, they're very scary. So you definitely don't have to work through all the fear before you can start having your own contact experiences. And I still haven't worked through all the fear yet, although I'm getting close. I think I had a physical contact experience, like it would have been like around September. It was when I was doing the September contact, like not this year but the year before. I think Tahini actually appeared in my garden here. Like it appeared as a shadow. Like I just saw that this energy form, and I saw it as like a shadow. But I'm fairly certain, because I saw this streak of light go across the sky, which looked like a ship, and it was kind of like a shooting star, but it looked like kind of looked like a ship. And then I heard this voice in my head say, "We're your heart family." I think that's what it said. "We're your heart family." I'd never heard that saying before. I've heard soul family, star family, but they said, "We're your heart family." And the next thing I know, like I see this kind of energy form just appear over me, and I could tune into the energy of him. And so I kind of had a physical contact experience, although he was just kind of manifesting. It was like it was kind of like a shadow. I don't like to say it was a shadow, because it kind of like a dark shadow. It kind of sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? But that's how I saw him. I can only explain the truth of what I'm experiencing. And it's kind of like, it was like, there's a video where you can see this actually online, where I'm fairly certain this was a real contact experience. I was skeptical at the time, but do you remember the Las Vegas? I'm sure it's in Las Vegas. It was at the same time as similar time to the Los Angeles. Can you remember the Los Angeles Mall one, where there was like 100 police cars pulled up outside the Los Angeles Mall? Was it in LA? And they tried to play it all down, like, why did 100 police, like literally like 100 police cars turned up to this apparent contact event? So that was probably a real event too. It was a little bit before that. It was not long ago. It was only like 3 or 4 years ago or something. There was maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, not something. It was I think it was when I was still in Peru. There was a case in Las Vegas where this kid where there was this being in his backyard, and the police were called, and you can see him on the video. There's a bit on the video they take it where you just see this shadow being appear, and that was like pretty much very similar to what I saw when I believe Tahini manifested here. So I think, so to check out that Las Vegas contact event, I think it was a real event for that reason. So we've got another super chat. So I'm out of the channeling state now. Dark moon UFO research, but I see if I can answer your question anyway. What survives the longest civilizations, ideas, or love? What survives the longest? Civilizations, ideas, or love? You missed the spaces, but I think that's what it's saying. What survives the longest? Civilizations, ideas, or love? Love, because love is the fabric of creation. I think all ideas stem out of love. Love is, as I understand it, love is the fabric of creation. Like in the beginning was the unmanifest consciousness, and then from the unmanifest consciousness, like the unmanifest realm, or the absolute, as I understand it, as it's called, is like infinity, unmanifest. It's like pure potential. It's us. It's our deepest nature. That is the absolute consciousness, and it's kind of like non-existence, but it's who we are. I kind of sensed into this once, and it's the most amazing feeling. It's just like the ultimate sleep. Sleep is amazing. It's like being asleep in the deepest, most blissful sleep, but you don't even exist. So you're sleeping out of reality. And from the primal state, infinite reality was born as unconditional love. For that unmanifest reality wanted to experience itself in reality. And so the way that absolute unmanifest consciousness, the void, if we wish, experienced itself was by creating itself as infinite reality. and infinite reality is pure love, light, energy. And out of love, ideas were born. Like in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So I mean, perhaps you could say that the idea of infinite reality was an idea in the Creator's mind, in the absolute reality's mind. So to the unmanifest Creator, us ultimately in our ultimate state, had the idea to create infinite love, like reality, which is infinite multiverse universes as we understand it today. So you could say ideas came before love. The idea to manifest infinite reality as love, like consciousness in the manifest world, was an idea, perhaps. I don't know. And then civilizations came after. So thank you, everyone. So I think we're going to call it a day now. So thank you to everyone for coming. Check out my website, jonathantrinity.com. You can do private channeling sessions there. You've got lots of questions you want to ask me. Sessions even with me, just with me, if you want to chat with me about anything. My Learn to Channel course starting March 7th. It's a 4-week Learn to Channel course, and it's good value. It's just £125 GBP. I kept the price down so we can get as many of you on board as possible. So that starts March the 7th. It'd be great to have some of you join that. And I also have a 1-to-1 33-week coaching program, which is live on there as well. So thank you everyone for joining. It's thank you. Hit the like button if you can, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can hit the like; it'll get boosted us through Facebook. So we got quite a few good questions and quite a few people online in the end. It was a bit slow to get going, and I was a bit concerned because we took off like it exploded last week, and I realized it was because we're showing up on the vertical live feed, because we're doing a vertical live feed like YouTube. It's a new thing on YouTube, so YouTube was posting the vertical live feed. I'm thinking maybe like some of those people who don't know what I'm about were a bit hesitant to click that kind of spooky image of the Yahyel I created with AI, where it's just got these big black eyes. I literally woke up in the middle of last night nervous about that image. I think it's too realistic to like what some of the greys and the hybrids look like. I think some of them do look like that to some degree, and this is why they're not going to be the first civilization to make contact with us. Because most humans would run a mile if a being like that came in the room in the middle of the night, wouldn't they? And the Pleiadians are like much more love, light, energy. Some nice images of the Pleiadians in the video I've got coming up this week. So thank you for joining the live stream again. It's been a good one. I didn't think I'd make it this far because I've been working out a lot this week, and I was super tired when I started. But all the deep breathing work kept us going, and the frequency got higher and higher as we went. I think the energies collectively have been a little bit heavy today for some reason, and so I think together we've managed to raise the vibration, raise the frequency. So we've ended up a lot higher frequency than we've begun, I feel. I don't know if it was just me because I was so tired from working out all week, or if the collective energies were heavy for some reason this week. The astrology is shifting. We're coming to the end of a Saturn cycle, like Neptune, like coming into like March. This is kind of why I did the channeling session for March. We're going to see a big expansion of consciousness literally by next Sunday. Like next Sunday, Saturn is going to be in the final degree of its like 35-year cycle, the final degree of Pisces, I believe, because it moves through the zodiac. It starts in Aries, I think, and then ends up in Pisces. And like Saturn, after 35 years, is literally next Sunday, I believe, going to be in its final degree of Pisces, this final era of it. And Saturn is connected to like government control systems, old-fashioned way of doing things. Time, Saturn is father time, physical reality, governments, systems, money, all that stuff for spiritual people that we don't really like and don't really resonate with. And it's coming to its end, and this is why we're seeing a lot of like chaos and stuff coming to the surface about the old realities. So literally next week, I think we're going to be seeing a big expansion in the energies. At the end of July, Neptune entered into into the end of a 165-year cycle. Neptune's done the same. Neptune, at the end of January, moved from its final degree of Pisces into the first degree of Aries, and because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, Pisces is the last sign. So literally at the end of the January, you might notice the energies were a bit crazy and heavy at the end of January, and January is quite difficult. So Neptune is to do with like expansion and like more to do with our higher minds. I think it might be the collective unconscious, like the collective or the collective conscious. It's more because the outer planets are all to do with the more expanded states, and like Mercury, the closest planet, is our human self. And so yes, so a new Neptune cycle has just begun, literally in the last few days, and this is why, because the energies feel much better, don't we? I feel like much better. Like generally, like December, January is quite heavy, and like it feels like we're going to higher frequencies already. Yeah, exactly. First half of January was very, very challenging. I was just meditating like 4 hours a day to deal with it through January, literally, sometimes longer. And then yeah, and so Neptune is now already in a beginning of a new 165-year cycle. So this is why the energies are getting much better already. And then on like next Monday, a week tomorrow, on Monday, some people say the 16th and 20th this month, the energies are going to shift. Saturn has finished his cycle, and that should feel really good. A new cycle of Saturn. It should be the end of a very dense, materialistic, physical, time-based, authoritarian system, government, control, old way of doing things. You know, I think Saturn might even be Satan, and this is why, you know, Satanism is over-identification with physical reality. It's not that there's anything wrong, that Saturn's evil. It's that when you're obsessed only with physical time, material objects, physical structures, you know, holding on to your attachments and your old life and your old reality, that's when it becomes Saturnism, when you're obsessed with only the physical realm and you've got no connection to the spiritual realm. So we should be seeing a great expansion of energy and much more uplifting energies, and I'm sure we will going into. I mean, March is already a much better month anyway, because certainly in the northern hemisphere, because we're coming out of winter into spring. So by next week we're going to do this. I'll be doing the channeling again, same time next week, guys, and so I'll see you same time next week. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for all your super chats, everyone. Thank you for making this live channeling a huge success, even though I think that thumbnail message put a few people off because it didn't quite explode quite as fast as it did last week right out the bat. So thank you for being part of this channeling, guys. We've gone 1 hour 42 minutes again, so it's been amazing. We managed to go so long again. Really enjoyed your questions. And it's good that we were able to get through some questions with all the super chats taking over, because that's what happens because we got through all the questions. It's the first time I've ever been able to get through all the questions, including the non-super chat ones. So that's unusual, and that may be one of the benefits of scaring people off with a spooky thumbnail image. To see if we find a more harmonic, love light thumbnail for next week. So thank you everyone for joining. Like I say, check out my Learn to Channel course at jonathantrinity.com. There's probably a link around here somewhere, or there definitely will be when this process is, and the replay is on live on YouTube in a few hours. It can take a little while to get the replay live. Yeah, and it'd be great to see some of you in the Learn to Channel course, and it'd be great to see some of you in my coaching program. Yeah, and I don't think I ignored your question, Dark Moon UFO. I'm sure I answered your question. I answered your question. I'm sure I did. Dark Moon, about the Ashtar command. Did I miss another question? I'm ever so sorry if I missed one of your questions. I answered your one about who survives the longest civilization. Civilizations or love, and I've heard that Arizona. I do see you got another one now here. I'll answer it. What happens to the most? Oh, yeah, I have missed one. I did miss one. So sorry, Dark Moon. Sorry, Dark Moon. I'll try and answer these in the channeling. I'll see if I can. What happens to the most advanced civilizations? I kind of know this. Anyway, I can answer this. Sorry, I did miss your question. What happens to the most advanced civilizations? So what happens to the most advanced civilizations? I know the answer to this. So as I talked about, as we move through the densities, like through the dimensions, I like this densities model. Like I said, first density rock, mineral, elemental life. Second density plant and low second density is plant life. High second density is animal life. Third density is human consciousness, like sentient, self-aware beings. Fourth density is like the Yahyel, fourth density. They're like us, they still have physical bodies, but they're connected to their heart consciousness and their infinity. They're like all enlightened, self-realized beings who know their infinite self. They know it's a direct experience of reality exists within them, and they're just operating out of unconditional love, and they have no fear. That's fourth density. Fifth density is the non-physical realm, is the realm of spirit. This is why I don't like the term fifth dimension, because we're not moving into the fifth dimension, because we're not all going to like ascend into spirit. That's why I prefer fourth and fifth density, because we're all shifting into fourth density, which is embodying our spirit, embodying our soul, embodying our love-like consciousness, in the understanding we are connected to all of creation, and we create our reality as we go, the awakened state. This is fourth density. And then fifth density is like fifth dimension, non-physical consciousness. Sixth density is kind of a blending of like you're in the non-physical realm, but you're, as I understand it, you're, rather than just exploring your own infinite self, you're coming back to the understanding of being of service from a more expanded state. This is something like sixth density is. And like the angels are like high sixth density beings. They're in the highest dimensions of creation, in the final stages of evolution, in the highest dimensions, the most advanced civilizations. As you advance to sixth density, so as you, fourth density is about being heart-centered and service to others. Fifth density is more about going within, as I understand it, just like literally going into your. Fourth density is unconditional love. Fifth density is wisdom. It's connected to the chakras. So fourth density is your fourth chakra, heart, and heart, loving everyone, serving everyone. But fifth density is connected to the throat chakra, and it's wisdom. And so sometimes when you're only in fourth density and unconditional love, you like burn yourself out trying to help people out of love, but that's not really, that just has no wisdom. It's no point exhausting yourself and making yourself unwell, just trying to help each other people out of pure love and compassion all the time. And also sometimes, pure love and compassion and just helping people all the time isn't the best thing for them, because sometimes just letting them go through some suffering because you understand that it will help them evolve at a more rapid rate, that is coming from wisdom. But too much wisdom is kind of a bit nasty and selfish and evil, because just letting people evolve, because knowing that going through the dark times will help them evolve. So sixth density is about balancing that compassion with wisdom, and operating from a very aligned, very like divine wisdom, balancing unconditional love and service with wisdom, knowing when to step in, knowing when to step out, knowing when to let them evolve in themselves, knowing when to help them. This is kind of the sixth density in the highest dimensional realms. And this is where the most advanced civilizations exist. They evolve through fourth density, fifth density into the non-physical realms of sixth density, and balancing wisdom with unconditional love in sixth density realms. And then in the highest, and then when you've completed that and you've like explored everything in creation, and you've spent like eons serving humanity as the angels do, and as very high evolved. I think Ra from the Law of One material is a very highly evolved. Ra is a social memory complex, a collection of consciousnesses. So Ra is one of the most advanced civilizations, because he's what he calls a social memory complex. He's many consciousnesses in one conscious, in the highest dimensions of sixth density. And once you've done that, and you've just served everyone in creation, have you explored everything in creation and like really done everything, at some point you merge into seventh density, and you just merge back into the light, into the pure consciousness. In a sense, you kind of go through a death. It doesn't sound good, but you let go of like all experience, and you just merge back into pure love and pure light. And then perhaps beyond that, what we might call eighth density, you merge, you just become the absolute, the void. So you end, and then so what happens? You move from a high sixth density civilization like Ra that is pure service oriented, and then when you completed everything that can really be done in creation, and there's nothing left to do, nothing left to explore, there's a natural evolution and actual draw back into the pure love light frequencies of infinite source consciousness. You become God, you become seventh density, and from there, like you're all the infinite universes in this real, or from there, it's something like you collapse back into source, you collapse back into the absolute and the void, and birth as an entirely new multiverse, an entirely new experience, an entirely new reality, an entirely new universe. And so that's what happened. The most advanced civilizations basically merge back with source after they've done everything that can be done, served everything in reality to the most they can. They collapse back into source, and then collapse back into the void. So from the infinite white light back into infinite potential. And then I think there's a natural explosion into a whole new. So you start again from point one. You go back becoming like, I think you go back to like just becoming like a rock, like and so you start again from the beginning. So that's what happens to the most advanced civilizations. Have we got another super chat? Oh yeah, you're amazing. Thank you. So thank you, Dark Moon UFO Research. Yeah. I'm glad I managed to answer your questions and I didn't miss them. So amazing. So I see. So that's why like ET like to let us live some things, because making mistakes is the best way to learn. But they have a balance. Yeah, totally. Yeah, because if they were just because they understand that we come here as souls to go through an evolutionary process, and that our challenges, that the darkness altered. This is why we come to Earth and experience this darkness, the darkness and the light, because in the higher dimensions you can't. There's very few places in creation that I understand it where you can experience like the darkness and the light coexisting alongside each other, and that's coming to an end now. So this is going to begin to split off. I think I talk about this in one of my text channelings on Facebook, and. Yeah, so this is literally what we as souls, we want to experience suffering. Literally, that's why we come to Earth, so we can experience the darkness and the contrast, because it's the fastest way you can evolve as a soul. It's the Earth is one of the best ways as a soul we can learn unconditional love, because when you're in the face of so much darkness and so much the opposite of unconditional love, that's where it's hardest to learn to be in unconditional love. And so this is why it's the ultimate school, like Bashar says, like school is like the master class. School is like the final stage. It's not like they don't view us as like lowly evolved beings. They view us as like very brave beings, coming to Earth, because it's like a master class, learning to live in unconditional love in the face of such contrast, such darkness, such limitation, apparent limitation. And so yeah, and if the ETs were just to land and fix all our problems and take us into like infinite light and heal all our issues and give us like loads of money and stuff, they'd be taking away that chance that we actually came here for as souls. So that's correct. Would that be considered the most advanced soul? Yes, that's like, yeah, because as souls, as we evolve, we begin to become more multidimensional consciousnesses as a soul, and in the higher levels of our soul, you might say in the highest dimensions, we actually evolve out of the soul into more like higher dimensional infinite consciousness. But yeah, that are like, that's the most advanced civilizations, and that's the path of the most advanced souls. So yes, so maybe you're talking about Ra. So yeah, Ra is one of the most advanced souls, but he's kind of become one with all of creation and many consciousnesses all as one. So yeah, so you're saying, so basically Ra is one of the most advanced souls. Yes, I think so. I think that's it. But Ra refers to himself as a social memory complex. So at that point, I think you might like merge into many souls, all as one. So you're like a kind of super soul or an oversoul, something like this. So yeah, but basically, Ra is one of the most advanced souls for sure. so wood of Ra has been human. Yeah, I mean, I think Ra. I think so. Yes, I think Ra, because Ra had the incarnation in ancient Egypt. I think this is the same being that incarnated as. I assume, being as he was so connected, that I think he was a human soul. It's unsure whether Ra. Perhaps this is something we could ask in the channeling next week when I'm back in the channeling state. Remind me, try and get in there quick and put the question at the start, and before I go into the channeling, same time next week. If Ra had a physical incarnation, because Ra was like he was the sun. Ra was the sun, because the sun is the pure light of creation. The reason Ra was symbolized as the sun god is because the sun is the light of creation. It's like love light, but it's like the sun is the light of the universe, because the sun is literally source consciousness coming into our reality and sustaining us. It's like the infinite self, like God, basically. The pure light, the pure love light frequency is coming into our earth through the sun. So Ra was the sun god, but that love light is also the light of the universe and the light of infinite creation. So this is like kind of why Ra was one of the highest gods, because he was seen as the sun god. And I think Ra. So we don't know if Ra actually had according to Egypt, was really a physical being, or I think he probably was. I think he probably took physical incarnation as like an avatar, and so on Earth, and so yeah. But I'm not 100% sure. Is Ra done reincarnating because they know everything at this point? I'm not sure. I think Ra still can project his consciousness, but understand Ra, if he did reincarnate on Earth, it wouldn't be his full consciousness. It would just be a portion of his consciousness. I think if Ra was to reincarnate, and he might do, coming over the years ahead as more avatars begin to incarnate in this reality, I think Ra would, and possibly is now, who knows? Yeah, possibly he would, but I don't think it would be the entirety of his being. I think he would still be like Ra, this expanded consciousness, just projecting a portion of his consciousness into a physical body, or a light body that was able to walk this earth. So we nearly lost connection then, guys. So I'm gonna have to wrap up soon, guys. So but what have we got? Can you talk about portal 676767 in the LX galaxy? I'm afraid I've really got no idea what you're talking about, user KY5. Maybe you can ask that in. Can you talk about portal 676767 in the LX galaxy? I really got no idea what you're talking about. You can ask that in the channeling. Obviously, often it's hard for me to answer these questions even when I'm channeling, because I am relaying the questions. They're not seeing this screen and reading the questions. I am relaying the questions telepathically to them through my heart, through my soul, and I have to convert that information. And they don't even hear the words. They get like an intuitive. I understand what that says, and if I understand it, and they understand it through me and give their perspective through that. So if I don't understand what you're talking about, and I don't understand what you're talking about through portal 676767 in the LX galaxy, you've got to clarify these things, and this is relevant for everyone, guys. If you want to ask questions about things like that, you've got to give me as much information so I can understand what portal 676767 in the LX galaxy is. I mean, I could try and tune in intuitively. Portal 676767 in the LX galaxy. I know it feels very high frequency. There feels a lot of love, a lot of light there. It feels good tuning into it. It feels very expansive. I feel like I'm in deep space somewhere. It feels very connected to love, to the love frequency. I think it must be a portal into a very high dimensional realm. Perhaps it's a portal into like a heavenly realm or like sixth density, something like this. This is like I feel that portal in the LX, what you're talking about, I feel much love. I feel a lot of love connected with it. So I feel it's like a portal into a higher dimension. It feels very amazing. I'm glad you brought it up, actually, because it feels very nice tuning into it. But in future, if you can give me more information, maybe if you remember to ask at the start of next week's channeling, we can ask the Yahyel as well. Okay, so is Ra done reincarnating because they know everything at this point? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure he would forget to some degree. You have to take on to. I think it seems all souls take on the forgetting, to some degree, even if Ra incarnates. Certainly, if he reincarnated in the physical body, I think he would forget. He would probably have a lot more memory, I think, than most. But yeah, I think there's something to do with physical reality that you have to forget to a certain degree just to be able to incarnate and experience Earth, because otherwise it probably wouldn't make any sense even being here. Thank you for connecting to the portal briefly. Yeah, thank you, user. Thank you. I hope you got something from that. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap it up now. Any aliens at Area 51? Wishbone. Hey, nice to see you, Wishbone. Are there any aliens at Area 51? I don't think so anymore, because like they wouldn't house the aliens at Area 51, because it's like everyone knows. It's like I think they moved everything, like most stuff, like to do with aliens and reverse engineered extraterrestrial technology out of Area 51, because everyone thinks they're there. They wouldn't keep them there. You know, that's just how the military operate, isn't it? Like it's like they're not going to keep anything like to do with aliens or reverse engineered extraterrestrial technology at Area 51 anymore, because everyone thinks it where it is, and like that's how the military operate, don't they? They hide everything and do the complete opposite. So but who knows? I think I don't know. Let me just tune in. No, I don't think there's any aliens at Area 51. I do think there are aliens in underground bases operating with military personnel around the world. I think they've left Area 51. Maybe you can ask next week, because I'm not channeling the. I came out of the channeling state of the Yahyel. Maybe the Yahyel will be able to answer that. I really got to go. I really got to go now, guys. So please, no more super chats. I really got to go over 2 hours. And I've got to go get some food, because I don't eat much in the day before doing channeling sessions, and it's like after 6:30 p.m. in the UK now. So I must eat some food, and I must replenish my nutrition. And so thank you for the super chats, guys. It turned out to be a real amazing class. It was great to be able to answer so many questions and not just get swamped with super chats. Or deeper in the tunnels. Yeah, I think I do sense that there's still some in underground bases, but I don't think they're Area 51 anymore. Yeah, it's not that easy. Thank you, especially when I'm having to come in and out of texts. It makes it even more challenging. And I do try and do my best to get through clear answers and not get my mind involved. I can't guarantee it all the time. I can't guarantee everything is 100% correct. I do my best, and for you guys. So if you could ask the Yahyel for me to take me with them, it would mean the world to me. You may be able to go on a temporary excursion in dream space. I think that's the most likely at the minute. You might be able to have a temporary experience on their ship. I don't think they're going to take you for good. I think that's extremely rare. I think maybe some beings have a couple of year vacations. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think they're going to take you permanently. I think that's off the cards. But I've had experiences on the ships. I don't remember them fully, if really at all, vaguely. Some of it, there is one experience I do remember some of. I did go on a ship, but it's not even going on a ship. It's you shift into another. They're in another dimension, and it really feels more like you shift into another dimension of reality that's outside of time and space. Then you get reinserted in this physical reality. It's more like that in my experience. So yeah, but thank you very much, guys. Much love to you. I'm going to wrap up the call now. And if you hold the intention in your hearts to make contact with the Yahyel, they will reach out to you in the correct timing. And it's possible that you've set these things up on a soul level before incarnating, and you've got to just trust the timing. It will happen in perfect timing. So yeah, I'm sure you'll have some experience at some time, Dark Moon. I'm sure you will, especially if you've got love in your energy. That's the main thing they're looking for, unconditional love. Love. If you've got love in your heart and joy and happiness and just want to do it to meet them just out of love with no other agenda, then it's highly likely you will. That's what they're looking for. They just want to meet people out of love and joy and for the sake of connecting. And of course, because we have soul contracts, but that's what they're looking for: love in our hearts. So yes, if you've got love in your heart and you wish to connect with them out of love, you will have some experience. Most likely in the dream state. You could well have dreams over the next few days. So love to you all. I'm sending you all unconditional love, and I shall see you all in another now. Peace. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. Bye-bye.